I have pictures up on my Instagram, so check those pictures out. I was posting a lot on my stories. I'll probably try to do a stories highlight, and I also add a lot of regular posts as well. But now I'm back to the grind, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the cult of the mask, the cult of the mask, because it just really struck me just now when I was at Trader Joe's. So, and just to give a background, Trader Joe's was one of the most draconian pro-mask chains here in the United States. I mean, they had signage everywhere, previously until a couple weeks ago, about how you had to be masked and instructions on what that looked like, etc. And they had employees, who would wander through the store and patrol it and yell at you if you weren't masked. And I mean, we've seen videos of people being chased out of Trader Joe's, even physically assaulted for refusing to wear masks. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. Well, now with the new CDC guidelines, Trader Joe's has removed their mask mandate. But what was weird is, it took a while for people to kind of react. Like, even in the bank that I was in, very few people were coming in, unmasked, and we were still requiring it. Well, while I was gone, my employer lifted their mask mandate for customers. Us employees are still required to wear them, which is tyrannical. And I'm thinking about I'm strategizing on how to approach that with my employer. But employees aren't. And what's interesting is, like, over half of the people walking into the bank today were unmasked. Over half of the people walking into the bank today. It was awesome. When I was in Florida, at Wonderful Resort, we're at the Hilton San Juan. It was an absolutely incredible time. I saved up some free night certificates. I got through my credit card spending with my business, and so basically we didn't have to spend any money out of pocket for the hotel stay, and we were just there celebrating my wife's birthday and our daughter's birthday, and it was just so wonderful. And no one was masked, like no one. The employees had to be masked when they were inside, but in the outdoor restaurant, outdoor bar, the employees weren't masked. None of the resort goers were masked. None of them. I mean, maybe like 1 out of 100 people had a mask on, probably even less than that. And there was no social distancing. People were just enjoying themselves. It was like COVID didn't exist. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. People there, it was so family oriented. It was great. It made the trip that much richer. So then, I'm back and I'm like, wow, people are getting used to not having to wear masks. I walk into Whole Foods to buy a cookie at lunch, and almost no one was masked. Almost no one was masked. I mean, like half of the people unmasked in Whole Foods. Then I go to Trader Joe's just now. Okay, everyone is masked. I counted during the entire time, and this is a busy Trader Joe's, and this is this is a block away from my work. This is a block away from the Whole Foods. Okay, so this is not like a different area of town. But for whatever reason, in this Trader Joe's, everyone was masked. I only counted like 4 people who were unmasked in the entire Trader Joe's during the entire time I was there. And what is it? People have been conditioned. People have been so beaten into submission there. And also I think Trader Joe's here in Atlanta, it attracts a lot of the liberals. So, like, a lot of the good old Southerners who, grew up here, a lot of the Southern conservatives don't shop at Trader Joe's for whatever reason. It's weird. Like, maybe they see it as a California hoity-toity chain, but they go to Whole Foods, but they won't go to Trader Joe's. It's weird. It's weird. I have like coworkers. They're like, oh no, I don't shop at Trader Joe's. But they'll go to Whole Foods, once in a while for something. I'm like, it's strange. But anyway, it's a different clientele. No one was wearing masks. I also saw, so like 4 people, no one was not wearing a mask. Everyone was masked. Only 4 people were not wearing a mask, myself included. It was bizarre. And then the then I see like 2 or 3 people who had the masks pulled down and their noses. I'm like, I almost wanted to ask them, why are you wearing a mask if you're not going to cover your nose? Like, this is pointless. Like, why are you wearing a mask like this? Why is your mask like this? Like, what's the point? You're not forced to wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask. Free yourself. Why go through the motions? This is stupid. This is stupid. And Barbara, you're saying your hairdresser's wearing a mask even though she's vaccinated. That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous, Barb. Yeah, you go to Aldi's, most masks. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Then I'm in the checkout, and the person ahead of me was wearing a mask that said, "Control yourself, vaccinate." I'm like, what does that mean? Control yourself, vaccinate. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, that should say, allow yourself to be controlled, vaccinate, and then wear a mask. I felt like saying to him, like, what do you mean control yourself? Like, what do you mean? Like, are you controlled? Who's controlling you? And why are you wearing a mask if you're vaccinated? If vaccines work, why are you wearing a mask still? Exactly, Barb. I'm exactly on the same page. I'm controlling myself by not taking poison. I'm controlling myself by empowering my own immune system and boosting my own immune system. I'm controlling myself by not wearing a toxic mask on my face, which lowers my immune system, which has been shown scientifically. There is not a single peer-reviewed medical study supporting mask wearing. There's not. In fact, there are multiple dozens of peer-reviewed medical studies saying the masks don't work. A year and a half ago, Fauci said masks don't work. Now it's changed. Why has it? It's become a cult. I posted a thing on my Instagram stories. You can check it out. It's also my Facebook stories, so Facebook or Instagram. A shot of a dear Prudence. This woman is upset because her husband is insisting on wearing a mask all the time in the house, even when they're having sex. I'm sorry, if you have to wear a mask when you're having sex, something is wrong with you. Either you are engaged in such horrific promiscuity that you don't care, in such horrific promiscuity that you have to mask to protect yourselves. I'm sorry. It's like, oh yeah. Can you point your head away from me while we, fornicate? And would you mind wearing a mask? And I'll wear a mask. I'm like, that is disgusting. And then if you're married, if you're in a monogamous relationship, are you wearing the mask while you sleep? You're gonna wear a mask while you have sex? It's a cult at that point. This masking is a virtue signaling cult. And what it is people have worn this mask for over a year. It's become part of their identity. They have used this to virtue signal for so long. It's like David Hogg, tweeted out saying, I'm vaccinated, but I'm still wearing a mask because I don't want people to think that I'm a Republican in public. That is stupid. That is so stupid. People don't want other people to think that they're conservative. But wait a minute, I thought you want everyone to know that you're vaccinated. Here's a community. Over 50% of U.S. adults are now vaccinated. Okay? I'm not sure the exact statistic in Georgia, but I think it's around, I think 70% of Georgian adults are at least partially vaccinated. I think it's almost half of Georgia adults are vaccinated fully. So, I mean, it makes sense that most people walk. So even if you're following the guidelines, even if you're like, man, I'm not vaccinated, so I want to follow the rules, so I'm still going to wear a mask. Okay, but if the vaccinated are not wearing a mask, if they're actually following CDC guidelines that says they don't need to wear a mask indoors, see, this isn't about the science. It's not. It's about a cult. Then Leana Wen, I believe is her name, Dr. Wen, she's a former head of Planned Parenthood, and now she's a CNN medical contributor. Well, she wrote this column for CNN talking about, if I'm vaccinated, should I still wear a mask? And she was like, yeah, if you're going into settings where there's, a lot of people who are unvaccinated, or there's a lot of people close quarters, you might still want to wear a mask to protect yourself. And I go, wait a minute. A year ago, they said masks don't protect you. You wear the mask to protect the other people so you don't spread the disease. They're all the slogans. My mask protects you. Your mask protects me. We all are in this together, so we all need a mask up to protect one another. And that was the whole pressure. Like, if you don't mask, you're killing grandma. Because, grandma can't protect herself just by putting on a mask. She can protect grandpa, but she can't protect herself. That was, the thing. So everyone needed a mask. That's why there were mask mandates. Now they're saying you need to, if you want to protect yourself, maybe you should still wear a mask. Wait a minute, the masks don't protect you. There was never a hypothesis that said that. The hypothesis was, and the theory was that the mask would stop the droplets from spewing forth in the air. It would keep me from spitting and spewing my viral load 30 feet around me, 10 feet around me, and it would, protect those around me and keep, the virus from spreading. That was the idea. So you see, the science keeps on changing because this isn't about science. This is about control. Allow yourself to be controlled, my friends. That's what the medical establishment is saying. And, now they're bribing people to get the vaccine. You can get free ice cream, free donuts, free concert tickets. You can get entered into raffles to win money, large cash prizes. You're getting all of these things. And why is this? Because there's a lot of money in these vaccines. I was reading that like CVS isn't doing as much vaccinations as they thought they were. So they're doing these incentives to try to get people to vaccinate. Because the Medicare reimbursement is $40. So CVS makes $40 on a vaccine. That's how much they make. So they were banking on doing a huge amount. That's not to mention what the pharmaceutical companies make on the vaccine. There's big money in it, my friends. That's why they're pushing it. The CDC, there's a revolving door between the CDC and Big Pharma. We talked about the military-industrial complex. There's the pharma-industrial complex. And there's this revolving door, and so the CDC is pushing this to enrich themselves. The elite are all doing this because they're boosting, there's a wealth transfer going on right now. and there's corporations making huge money off of the pandemic and off of these vaccines. I was talking to a coworker of mine. She's from India. She has two parents. Well, obviously, her two parents are still in India. I was asking her today, how are your parents doing? She goes, oh, they're better, because she was really worried about them because of, the case surge in India. Incidentally, I don't know this from her because she's more pro-vax, but I was reading that the case count in India started spiking once they started rolling out the vaccines and stopped doing the ivermectin and the hydrochloroquine. So when they were doing hydrochloroquine and ivermectin, cases were lower. So anyway, now cases are surging, and she goes, she was so happy to find out that she could go to Amazon India and order food to be delivered to her parents, order groceries to be delivered to her parents. And evidently there's an onion shortage in India. And so her parent, onions are a big part of, Indian cuisine. And so her parents were like cutting back on the amount of onions they were eating and using for their cooking because the prices have skyrocketed. There's price gouging by all the local, grocers. But she's able to, for the equivalent of $2 or $3 US, buy a 5-pound sack of onions and have it delivered. She's so happy. Her parents are so grateful. But who's suffering in this? Who's gaining wealth? Amazon. Transference going on right now. A wealth transference. This is the Great Reset. So anyway, that's it, my friends. I just pulled up to the house. But I wanted to come on here and talk to all of you and kind of vent about my experience today at Trader Joe's among all the mask cultists. Hello, Helga. So anyway, if you're watching this, please follow me here on Haps. Also, follow me on all of my other networks that I simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Follow me on Instagram and Parler as well. God bless all of you. Elga, thank you for following me on here. I appreciate that. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to all of you.